Hi everyone. I'm often struck by how God's character can be revealed even in passages that are foreign to our context. In my last sermon, I mentioned God giving the Canaanites 400 years of grace to repent before moving in justice to wipe them out. The book of Joshua takes place as that eradication is underway, and as a result, it can seem quite bloodthirsty. Yet Joshua chapter 9 sets up an interesting subplot within the violence. The Gibeonites have heard how God is with the Israelites, and seeking to avoid war, they decide to trick them into a peace treaty. They send Israel a delegation dressed in worn clothing, carrying moldy bread and old wineskins, whose scruffy-looking appearance convinces the Israelites they're from distant lands rather than a nation that God has told them to wipe out. Without consulting God, Joshua and the leaders make a treaty with the Gibeonites, swearing to let them live. What follows is fascinating. The Israelites learn that Gibeon was a people they were meant to destroy, yet because they have sworn an oath of peace, they honor it. And God supports that decision. The Gibeonites are made servants of the Israelites, with their tasks including being water carriers for the house of God. Now that they have aligned themselves with God, they allowed access into God's presence. And more significantly, when the surrounding nations hear of the treaty and move up to attack the Gibeonites, God sends the Israelites to defend them, defeating 5 kings and performing 2 miracles in the process, hurling down large hailstones on their enemies and stopping the sun for a full day in order to let the victory be more complete. God does not hold the deception or even the former destiny of the Gibeonites against them. Rather, because they have chosen to align themselves with Him and His people, He moves to protect them. Isn't it encouraging to know that as we align ourselves with God and walk in His ways, we come under His covering? No matter our past decisions or deceptions, in identifying ourselves with Christ, we are called His children. We now get the privilege of serving Him and gaining access to His presence. And when we walk in step with Him, He will fight on our behalf. Let's thank Him for that covering and remind ourselves to trust in Him and realign ourselves with Him every day. Blessings.